Hi everyone, and welcome to Shlime Reviews. I'm Shlime, and in this video, I will be reviewing Potcha slimes. But first, if you're new to my channel, I want to again say welcome. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoy this content. And now for our Shlime fam shoutouts. There are 4 of you: Violet Galaxy, James P, Danny Though, and Kyle Wood. Thank you so much for all the support, and if you'd like a shout out like this, comment down below #ShlimeFam. And with that, let's get into this review. So starting with the package, this came all the way from Canada. I am in Southern California, so that was quite a journey that this package went on. I paid $82.02 for 5 slimes, including shipping and 20% off. The package got here in 14 days, which is 2 weeks exactly, and I find that to be really awesome, considering it came all the way from Canada. I will mention that tracking is not available for the cheapest shipping method if you are outside of Canada, so I had no idea when this was going to get here, but it all worked out. I love the cute label tape that they had over the package, and they even had a fragile sticker, which I love that extra step to try to ensure that the slimes arrive safely. When I opened the box, I did see a 25% off code with a note that said sorry because the package took longer to ship than it originally would, which personally I believe this package got to me quickly, but I do appreciate the 25% off code for when I want to order again. And it even came with a sticker of Potcha Slime's logo, and I have to say I love Potcha Slime's logo. It is absolutely adorable. I love the pig. It is just too cute to me. And there was tissue paper on top of everything, and underneath was very nicely bubble wrapped slimes. The shop was also nice enough to include some candy and a little alcohol cleaning pad. I also want to mention that you do have to ask for a business card and activator from this shop before you check out. I didn't do that, so I didn't get any of it, but that is something to mention, and they do that because they want to prevent waste. So the 5 slimes that I ordered are Philippine inspired, and I will do the best I can to pronounce these names. I actually just realized that there's pronunciations on the labels for all these slimes, so I really appreciate that. That's going to help me with these pronunciations. So the 5 slimes are Sago at Gulaman, Wisteria, Buko Pie, which is a do-it-yourself clay slime, Banana Ketchup, and the last slime is Gumamela. I did also notice that out of the 5 slimes, one of them did not have a dome lid. The others do have dome lids, which I love. And one container did have 2 small cracks, but it was not a problem. Everything was perfectly fine. I am so excited to check out Potcha Slime's shop. Also, as a reminder, I save my ASMR till the end of the video, but feel free to use the chapters to skip around as you'd like. And with that, let's open some slimes. The first slime we're gonna look at is Wisteria. I want to start with saying that this sticker on top is my favorite sticker ever. It's the only slime from this order that has a different sticker on top of the container lid. I am obsessed. But so, I paid $15.95 for an 8-ounce containered slime. The texture is listed as a coated water jelly, and it's scented as floral tea. They describe the texture as jiggly, non-sticky, and smooth. And right off the bat, looking at this, I was just in love with the color. It's what grabbed my attention when I saw it listed on their website. And I love all the flower add-ins they put into this as well. It's a great touch, and this looks so clear for being scented. I was very impressed. When I went to touch the texture, I did think it was gonna be ultra jiggly, and that's not the case. It's more of like a thick, clear slime, but it's very, very smooth. It's so smooth, it just makes me want to keep poking it in the container. I was just obsessed with how gorgeous it looked. And the scent is absolutely delicious. It's a very realistic, sweet floral scent. I love how Potcha Slimes does their labeling for their slime. It has all of this information about the inspiration for the theme of the slime, and sometimes it does have the pronunciation, which helps. The labeling for this slime reads, Wisterias are beautiful purple flowers that cascade on vines that are in peak bloom in May. This water jelly is inspired by this imagery. Purple flowers reminiscent of wisterias are suspended in our coated water jelly base. scented floral tea. And I thought they really described that so well. I love that they put that kind of detail into their labeling. It's just on another level. A lot of shops don't do that. So the more I did play with this slime, I realized that it doesn't really fluff up. The way it stretches, it feels very different compared to most other textures I've ever felt. Like, it does stretch, but if you try to inflate it or fluff it up, it will get tough, and it's really, the texture isn't meant for that. I did message the shop to see if this was what they intended, and it is the type of texture that they are intending for. I've never played with a coated water jelly, so I wasn't sure what to expect. And that is another thing to mention, is that although this is called a jelly, there is no instant snow in it. It does almost feel wet when you're playing with it, but it doesn't leave your hands feeling wet afterward. That's a really weird thing to try to describe, and I'm struggling to try to describe it, but it's a different texture all around, and it's also very holdable. It does not get sticky at all. It's a very beautiful and relaxing slime. I enjoy the aesthetic and scent that goes with it very much, and this is honestly a texture that is seriously just fun to poke in the container alone. I have pulled this slime out many times since filming because I like it that much. I actually didn't think I was going to, but it is one of my favorites because I don't have to worry about it being melted, and it's just so beautiful. It does not get tacky at all, and it hardly really even inflates. It does inflate a tiny bit, but it's truly not meant for that, and I do enjoy this texture a lot, and highly recommend it to anyone who thinks they may enjoy this as well. It's just something to be aware of, that it doesn't inflate. So for Wisteria, that is a beautiful 10 out of 10 slime. The next slime we're going to look at is Gumamela. I paid $12.95. This came in a 4-ounce container. And this was the only slime that had a flat lid on top of the container, which makes sense because this is the only 4-ounce slime that I purchased. The texture is listed as bubble beads, pinwheel beads, and flower Gumamela charms, and it is inside of a clear base, which is scented as Hibiscus Tea. I love all of the different color beads used for this slime. The contrast is absolutely beautiful, and it's in a very clear base for being scented. I was honestly so impressed. The more I admired the clear base, I did unfortunately notice a couple black bits of debris floating in the slime, which was a bit unfortunate. I am trying to get better at contacting shops when I notice stuff like this, but I did wait a bit too long to reach out to the shop. I feel it's a bit awkward to do it a month later, so that's my bad, and I will definitely be better about that in the future, but the debris is something to mention and did throw off the experience of the clear slime a little bit, but regardless, this slime was still so beautiful. I love that all the beads were transparent too. The light really just shines through it gorgeously. This did need a tiny bit of activator because it was a little bit sticky, but it makes sense because it traveled from Canada to California during the summertime. If any of these slimes need activator, it's very understandable. I mean, they were in shipping for 2 weeks, and this really did not need a lot of activator for it to be holdable and playable. It also stretched very easily. I love all of the bubble pops made from the add-ins. I will say though that the pinwheel beads can poke your hand a little bit, so you just have to be careful if you get a slime with beads like that. But the bubble beads were very smooth and they didn't give me any problem. There was 0 bead fallout with this slime. I also do enjoy the scent. It's a very light, sweet floral scent. It's kind of like Wisteria, but not as sweet. The only thing is I do get this plastic scent in there as well, and I believe that's from the beads that were added. I've had one other slime like that before, so I do think some add-ins can mess with the scent a little bit in that way. Either way though, this was a just beautiful and fun slime. I love all of the beads that were added because they're beads that I don't usually get in slime. I'd also like to read some of the label from this slime just to get some more information. This crunchy slime is inspired by hibiscus, which is Gumamela in Filipino, I believe, and sweet childhood memories of making bubbles out of crushed hibiscus featuring bubble beads and pinwheel beads. Scented hibiscus tea. And I just find that to be beautiful in its own way, to make your childhood memories into a slime. That's really cool, and I love that. Overall, I was very happy with this. This does inflate a decent amount too, and you will need a spare container for the extra slime if you decide on inflating it. And I definitely recommend to anyone who enjoys fun beads in their slimes. So for Gumamela, because there was a little bit of debris in the base and the scent was slightly affected by the plastic beads, I'm gonna fault this a little bit. I am gonna give this slime a 8 out of 10 Shlime. The next slime we're gonna look at is Banana Ketchup. I paid $15.75 for this slime. It came in a 7-ounce container. The texture is listed as a thick coated jelly, and it's scented as banana ketchup. When I saw this listed on their website, the color definitely stood out to me. It was just a gorgeous, vibrant, bright red. And the name Banana Ketchup too, like it was a very eye-catching slime, that's for sure. And when I went to open this slime, I just loved the look of the instant snow in it. It just had a gorgeous look to it. When I went to poke the slime, it was a little bit sticky. Again though, it shipped from Canada for about 2 weeks, so it's very understandable. It's also a good reminder that even though you might order a coated slime, it could still arrive a little bit underactivated when it's hot. And regardless, this slime was just so beautiful. Whenever I would stretch it and I saw that lighter hue of red, it was just so gorgeous. I can't stop saying beautiful and gorgeous, but it's just so true. This stretches very well and gave great finger pokes and bubble pops. The slime was still a little bit tacky even after activating, but it was mostly just on my table and a little bit on my hands. And it really wasn't sticky, it just wanted to leave these little bits of slime sometimes. And the more the slime was fluffed up, it becomes a lighter red color. It really just reminds me of like a marinara sauce. Let me read what they had written on the label of this slime. Banana ketchup is a sauce made of bananas and vinegar, dyed red to look like ketchup. This thick coated jelly is scented as banana ketchup, which is a tangy, acidic, with sweet banana notes. I really do wish I knew what the actual banana ketchup is scented like, because I can't say for sure if this does smell like that or not, but I will say it's a very unique, different scent that I have never smelled before. I don't want to lie, it's not a favorite scent to me. That's why I wish I knew what the food smelled like. I feel like it might be pretty accurate to the condiment that is described, because it does smell a lot like what is described, but it's just, you know, a savory sweet scent can be a definite hit or miss, and it also just depends on the person too. So to me, was not a scent I really enjoyed, but the texture made up for it to me. Even if the texture looks tacky or sticky in this video, I can reassure that when I activated this well and I let this slime sit for about a week or so, when it cleared up, it bounced back beautifully. It was definitely a thick coated jelly, and I'm even more in love with it playing with it after this video. This slime does inflate a great amount, and you will need a spare container for the extra slime because there is a lot of it after. I have to say, coated jellies are becoming a new favorite texture of mine, and I definitely do recommend trying one from the shop. Just be mindful that it might arrive a little sticky if it's ordered during a hot season like I did. So for banana ketchup, because there was that tiny bit of tackiness that wanted to continuously go on my table and fingers, I am going to fault this a little bit, but I really do enjoy this texture a lot. So I am going to give this slime a 9 out of 10 Shlime. The next slime we're going to look at is Buko Pie. I paid $16.25 for this. It came with a 7-ounce coated jelly base and a clay pie piece. The base is scented as a young coconut juice, and the texture is described to be glossy, clicky, and inflating once everything is mixed together. I really enjoyed the color of the base. It was like a light pale yellow, and it had a bunch of fine iridescent glitters in there to give it just a gorgeous shine. The clay pie piece came in a sealed bag with a little fake flower charm in there. When I opened the base, I could already tell that it was a bit melted down. And when I went to poke it, I knew I should probably activate it first, and that I wasn't really going to be able to show off how gorgeous and clear it was. So I am sorry about that. But when I pulled the slime out of the container, I saw these little thin sponge pieces in there, and I think that's supposed to represent pieces of coconut, because Buko Pie is a Filipino coconut pie. I really did try to show off the coated jelly base as much as I could while it was clear, but I did have to activate it eventually before adding the clay piece just to make the mix easier. And I will say, as I was like activating the base, I was enjoying the scent so much. They did list the scent as a young coconut juice, and maybe that's what it is. It's just different and I really enjoy it. It's very refreshing. As the base fluffed up, it became more of a white clouded color. And I put it back in the container to get the clay piece out. I was a tiny bit worried that maybe the clay piece would be stuck to the wrapper it was in, but it did come out easy. I believe it was a little bit hand painted on top, but overall I didn't really see any mold details. It was kind of just shaped like a triangle. Putting that on top with the flower was really cute though. I love the little flower add-in. I was not going to put that in the slime, but it was super cute as an aesthetic. When I went to squish in the clay piece, I could tell that it was a little bit dry. Like it wasn't super stiff, but it wasn't super smooth. And as I went to mix it into the base, I could tell that I still needed to activate the base. So this was like a little bit of a struggle getting it all situated, I'm not gonna lie, but it did not take long for the clay piece to mesh into the slime. At first, I thought there were still pieces of the clay piece, but that was just the pieces of sponges I saw earlier in the base. I love how poofy and squishy this slime gets, and it also gives amazing sizzles once it's all inflated. It stretches very easily, and when it's activated right, it is just so great. The scent and texture complement each other very well. I was just in love with a lot of things about this slime. I'm honestly trying to overlook dry clay pieces as long as they do go into the slime well, because I do realize it's difficult to get a smooth clay piece half of the time, and I feel bad taking off rating points because of that. So I feel like I'd only really fault a slime if the clay piece just took a long time to dissolve, but this wasn't the case. And I actually really enjoyed this once it was all mixed together. This was seriously one of my favorites from the order. It's very squishy and just so relaxing to play with. It's one of my go-to clay slimes that I grab right now. Also, let me read the label to the slime. This kit features a clear base with a hint of snow with a large slice of clay buko, which is young coconut, pie. Scented deliciously like coconut juice, mixes to a glossy, puffy texture. And I will say this is a very glossy, inflatable slime. I am really in love with it, and I highly recommend a DIY clay slime from this shop if that's what you enjoy. Again, just be mindful if you get a clear slime base, there's a possibility it could be melted a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. The only thing is you will need a spare container for the extra slime. And yeah, can't go wrong with a sizzly coconut scented slime. I love it. So for Buko Pie, that is a beautiful 10 out of 10 slime. The last slime we're going to look at in this review is Sago at Gulaman. And I just want to start off with saying first that this was a slime with the 2 small cracks, and I just want to point them out, but there was really no problem with it. I paid $14.95 for this, and it came in an 8-ounce container. The texture was listed as a slushy bead slime in a coated water jelly base, and it also has sugar scrub beads at the bottom. And some of the slushy beads are actually larger beads, which I love. I've never seen that before. I find the clear coated water jelly color to even just be so beautiful. It really reminds me of like Coca-Cola, and it's cool to see how the beads settle in the slime differently, how some go to the bottom and others to the top. That was something I've never seen from purchasing slime before, and I really enjoyed that aesthetic. I do want to say that this base is technically the same base as Wisteria, which is a coated water jelly, but I could tell as soon as I went to poke this that it wasn't as thick as Wisteria, and it was just a bit thinner, like I could just stretch it easier. I was also in love with the scent, but from what I remember, I didn't see the scent listed on their website, but they did have it on the label of this slime, which I can read to you right now. This coated water jelly slime is loaded with Slushee, sugar scrub, and round Sago beads to emulate a salamig. I hope I pronounced that right. So those larger beads are Sago beads. So this is supposed to represent a cold, sweet drink. called Sago at Gulaman, and this is scented as brown sugar tapioca with pandan. I'm unsure what pandan is, but this is a really good scent. This is my favorite scent and texture from the order, I will say that right now. It really just resembles a fizzy soda drink to me very well, and the scent is just so amazing. When I went to actually fluff up this slime, it stretches very, very easily. It's honestly not a lot like Wisteria in terms of inflation because I was able to just stretch this and fluff it. It's a lot of what I thought Wisteria was gonna be like. So it was interesting that these were the two same textures, but they stretched very differently. I do understand that when you add beads to slime, the slime should be a little bit stickier so that it can hold the beads, but I don't know, it was definitely interesting, and I really enjoy both coated water jellies from this order, but this one was definitely a bit more appealing just because I could do a lot more with it. This texture also didn't have any instant snow, and it feels almost like you're touching water, but it doesn't leave a wetness to your hands at all. This did need a tiny bit of activator even because it did need to just be a little bit thicker, but it wasn't sticky at all. So if you want to have a slime from Potcha Slimes that's not sticky, definitely recommend a coated water jelly slime. It's just, I wish I understood more of what the intention is with this texture because I had two different types and I'm a little unsure. But regardless, I do really enjoy both of them. All of the beads added into this are not rough on the hands too, which is lovely. But some of the sugar beads, they did come out occasionally. I had 2 beads fall out while filming for this video, which was about 10 minutes. And that's really not bad. I personally don't mind if it's only a couple beads as long as it's not a ton. And maybe it's even because I activated it. That's the thing too, if you activate slime too much and it has beads, sometimes that can cause some bead fallout, so it's hard to tell sometimes, but I do really enjoy this slime a lot overall. It's one of my go-to crunchy slimes on the shelf because a lot of crunchy slimes, the clear bases will melt down and it makes it difficult to try to play with them again. So this is definitely one that I love because I don't have to worry about that. This also inflates a good amount, and you will probably need a spare container for some of the extra slime. But I highly recommend this to anyone who enjoys a good crunchy slime because this is one of my top favorites that I've ever had. So for Sago at Gulaman, just because there was that little bit of bead fallout and it wasn't mentioned on the listing, I am going to fault this a little bit unfortunately, but I will say again that this is one of my favorites and I highly recommend checking it out. But so, this is going to get a 9 out of 10 slime. Thank you so much for watching my video, and check out more Potcha slimes. I will have links down in my description below to their shop and Instagram. Overall, I really loved how different and unique all of these textures and scents were. Also, if you're curious, I'm on Instagram too. So follow me if you like to see slime and just slime. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.